Here we got a machine that you would use to clean like your kitchen sink drain or your bathtub drain. We recommend these for 1.5 inch and smaller drain lines. So those are just a couple that would be 1.5 inch. I'm gonna show you how to run this thing. Right here we've got the power cord. This one's a little different. You gotta plug the power cord into the side of the machine, but it might be a little bit different than your traditional like Home Depot rental, which would be like a drill machine. It kind of looks like there's a drill on the end of it and you have to hold the drill and then feed the cable at the same time. These ones are a little bit easier to use, but everybody has their preference on what they're gonna use. So we're gonna plug up. Once again too, on all these machines, you wanna make sure you're only running them in forward and reverse if you're trying to get through a hard spot. Make sure your cord's out of the way and your GFI is good. I'm gonna put the gloves on. This cable's a little 1/4 inch cable. It's got a couple kinks in it, which generally once we get some kinks in a cable, we like to try to replace them. We do have replacement cables on standby for when we do have those issues. One thing you'll notice here is I didn't disconnect the trap. There's a reason for that, and it can be controversial to not disconnect the trap. I believe that running water, as I said previously, is super important, and I think if you're skilled enough, you can not damage the trap when trying to clean a drain. So we got a small little backup starting here. You see that cable start torquing up. When you're experienced, you can handle that torque, but you see how it's starting to torque up like that? Really want to be careful with that. The hook on this cable looks to be too much. It's not wanting to go down, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to bend it. Cut for a second. I just put a new cable in it. The cable we were using just wasn't good enough, and like I said, we have cables readily available. This right here comes on a new cable. We generally will cut them off and put a bend on the end. And the reason why is because this little corkscrew thing, if there's any channel rot in the pipe, a lot of times what it'll do is it'll find its way corkscrewing out of the pipe, and then your cable's stuck. So what I'm gonna do is put a small little bend on it. You got my safety glasses on. I'm gonna go ahead and cut that bend off of there. So now I've got this little bend on the end of this brand new 1/4 inch cable. I'm gonna start running it through this drain here. Don't forget, gloves. Like I said, I don't usually remove the traps because I do want to have water flowing. You want to keep as little amount of cable out of the machine as possible. Since we're going through that trap, put the drain machine in reverse. Put all this excess cable back in there. See how we got it to go through that trap real nice? You can feel that torque build up. Then out of a bad situation. Now you don't want to continue running it in reverse. You're going to want to switch over to forward. We're going to go ahead and run that water at full blast. Just take it in slow. You'll be able to hear it, especially when you got drain lines exposed like we do. You're able to hear that cable kind of moving through there. You guys use this sink almost, I would say, every day, multiple times a day, and almost every month we got to clean this sink out, so it's about due. You can see here it's torquing up a little bit, we're hitting a little bit of a clog. What you want to listen for when you're cleaning a drain like this too, make sure you're not going up your vent. If you go up your vent, you're never going to hit your clog. Every small drain like this is going to have a vent. You can hear that little tinkering around in that drain in there. That means we've went up the vent. How are you going to stop that from happening? You're going to pull it back. You don't necessarily need to run the machine to pull it back unless it's really tough. Pull it back. What you're going to do is take a pair of channel locks, put them on the end of that cable, and put a bigger bend on it. Basically what you want it to do is when it goes through that line there, you want it to be able to drop into that drain. That's generally all the bigger you'd want it to be. You don't want to really corkscrew the end. That should be good for getting us where we need to go. Put the machine back in reverse, run through the trap. You can see that cable moving down. Means we're making progress. Torquing. Feeds in real nice. You may have to run it a couple times. Really achieve the result you're trying to achieve. Not everything's a one and done. So ultimately what we're looking for is for the water to start tornadoing, sucking it down real quick. Might even make a little bit of a tornado type noise, what you would expect. Best thing to do is not force it into anywhere it doesn't want to go. The reason it's having such a hard time is because what we're trying to do is we're trying to run this 1/4-inch cable to clear this branch. We got the branch cleared. When you have an issue in the 3-inch pipe like that, what we're gonna have to do with this pipe not having a accessible clean out, we're gonna have to cut in a clean out right there and run the 100, which was the next size bigger from this machine, down there to try to clean out the drain, see what's going on in that 3-inch. So from a homeowner's perspective, this is definitely something that you could do. Once you run into the issue of the clogged 3-inch main line and you've cleared the branch line, it would probably be best to consult with a licensed plumber to cut you in a clean out and clear your drain for you. This machine, pretty readily available. They have similar models at Home Depot and Lowe's. This is more of a commercial unit. They all kind of do the same thing. Obviously this one has a little bit more power, a little bit more able than your typical homeowner that might only use it once a year or so. The best thing to do is run water while you're cleaning the drain. Make sure you run the cable through the trap to do so. Keep that area clean. And you want to make sure you don't go too far. That's why we stopped. We knew that we were already in that 3-inch drain line and we didn't want to get raveled up into that drain line. We know the branch is cleared, so next step's going to be adding a clean out there and running the 100.